Hi everyone, thanks for joining me today. And then the first card out is the Four of Swords. So this is, in a very basic sense, this card is telling you to take a vacation. Really, take a break. Be careful. Try not to be one of those people doesn't want to use their vacation or their sick time or whatever. And I'm not telling you to call into work sick, but I have like almost 7 weeks of sick time. It's like, which is, it's fine. It accumulates, but I'm not going to I don't know why they allow you to accumulate, I think, because if you have, they don't have short-term disability. So if you like have a baby or have to be out for surgery or something, you have that time. So it's great. And I may need it, but it's kind of like, I'd rather be able to spend it. But so every once in a while you do need a mental health, which is a sick day. A mental health day. Use your vacation. Don't feel guilty. Don't worry. Take a break. This is telling you to take some time out, and that's going to be a good way to help keep your temperance balance. Yeah, see, the Queen of Swords would not feel guilty about taking vacation because she'd just be very factual. I have this vacation. I'm going to use it. She doesn't get emotional and worried about it. This also she's very, again, analytical. She uses her mind to make her decisions mostly. That's her dominant way of decision making and seeing the world. So sometimes if you work really hard, she's a sword. She cuts away emotion. She cuts away things that are not necessary, that are maybe clouding her judgment. So she would sort of counsel you to cut away the emotions, to see things very almost black and white, less emotional and more through your thoughts. So maybe if people are complaining about things, try to look more at the facts. This was interesting. There was a situation at this job I had at one point where I won't tell that story. Just stick to the facts. Just the facts, please, not the emotions. If you have to communicate stuff at work, stick to the facts. Okay, that was kind of intense. King of Pentacles. So he's an interesting energy to have with the Queen. So this type of energy would be telling you to bring into your workplace of just like sort of slow and steady wins the race, methodical. Give up instant gratification or like rushing things for dotting your I's, crossing your T's, and just plugging away and trying not to let. Sometimes if we have a lot going on at work or we're busy and we're feeling out of balance or stressed, it can be very hard the temperance card, stay balanced, take time off when we need it because we feel like there's so much work to do. So calling upon that Queen of Swords to think with your head and not your emotions. And again, he knows that sometimes good work takes time and rushing it is not an option. The Pentacles are kind of all about a process. If you think about earth and nature and living, everything, there's cycles. It takes a certain amount of time for crops to grow. The seasons, they just happen in their time. You can't force it to be summer and winter and vice versa. And so this is just about understanding that there's sometimes a process and things are going to take as long as they take, and there's nothing you can do to rush it. And it sort of takes you off the hook of trying to force something that is unforceable. So in the relationship category, the Five of Pentacles is about feeling shut out, feeling alone, and feeling spiritually defeated. It's sort of a poverty mentality, poverty consciousness. But usually the lesson behind the card is that you're not alone, but you may need to let people know that you're feeling this way. Like a very practical way if you're feeling shut out, is to be like, I'm really feeling left out, and then people may be like, oh no, I didn't mean that. So I'm going to definitely read the star because it fell out. So this is telling you to have faith, to have hope that healing is coming and things are looking up. Okay. Now watch me get like the Tower, the Five of like all these horrible cards. But at the bottom of the deck, it's telling you that there is someone there for you. And it's interesting. There are two people in both of these cards, right? So you do have people, I sort of see this as you have your wisdom that you've gained to fall back on. And you also have to have faith, whatever that means for you. And we have the Six of Cups. This is a lovely card. But at points, I feel like there's some nostalgia going on. I often read this card about calling upon your inner child, in the sense that, stop and smell the roses, enjoy the simple things in life. But I'm feeling that it's coming through more as nostalgia, that you're looking back at a relationship and you're pining over it, you're missing it, you're remembering and wishing and kind of sad. I feel a sadness for some reason. I don't usually feel that with this card, I guess because of the Five of Pentacles. So I just like to remind people that kind of the lesson behind this card is that we don't always remember things the way we are. If we could literally be transported back and relive that relationship or that experience, we often remember it. We don't remember it accurately. We just don't. And we may remember it as better than it actually was, or worse than it actually was. So just be a little careful of your memories, because they're often in a filter kind of in our heads. They're not always accurate. Like maybe you're looking back at summer camp, and summer camp's supposed to be an awesome, rite of passage childhood memory. So you remember it as, oh yeah, I went to camp, it was great. But then if you were really to go back, you'd forget that you were actually really homesick, and you got stung by a bee, and you got poison ivy, and that person in your cabin was mean to you. You know what I mean? It's like you may forget sort of the details. Oh, and then we have the Devil. So I sort of feel like when this comes up in the relationship category, we feel sort of trapped, and there may be some sort of abuse going on. This has been a theme for some reason this month. Like if you feel like your partner is being abusive to you, they probably are. I guess remember, abuse is rarely the Ted Turner, getting the crap beaten out of you. It's often much more subtle and sort of, I'm not going to say more damaging, but just as damaging, because it's sort of like just slowly erodes away at your spirit. And sometimes even the person isn't necessarily, often they are abusive to other people. I'm not a psychologist or anything. But sometimes it's just that you're not a match, like your personalities clash. But don't remember old relationships as better than they were if the person didn't treat you well. I think this came up in the weekly reading, or I can't remember. I'm sorry, I've done so many readings, I'm forgetting. But I'm repeating myself as kind of remember the bad things about old relationships. Like they broke up for a reason. So remember the bad, because that was what contaminated. Because if you just focus on the good, you can sort of forget that there were these negative sides and that it actually wasn't a healthy relationship for you. Ooh. So I sort of see this as kind of coming out of this sense of sort of kind of really examining the past clearly, and sort of going from this, why haven't things worked out to me, to, you know what, I deserve better and I deserve more. And, looking back, maybe those relationships weren't so great, and it's okay that they're gone. And I don't want that. I want to bring in this Knight of Wands energy. This is change and passion and excitement. It's like realizing the truth of the past, a more realistic remembering of the past. And so sort of saying, it's okay that that relationship didn't work out because it wasn't healthy. It's okay to let go of this relationship because it's not healthy. We're not a match for whatever reason. And I can move on. I can move on and bring in new passion and new happiness into my life. I think once you sort of have thought through those things in your mind and realize that it was probably for the best that maybe a relationship didn't work out, and you can even be bringing old relationships, if you're in a new relationship, into your current relationship and sort of letting go that baggage we carry with us. We all do it. And sort of like, okay, that old relationship isn't this new relationship, and I have to stop comparing the two, or unless there are, red flags, of course, or something. And I always encourage people, if you're struggling with this, like, is this abusive? Is this, to go to a therapist, because they can help you sort all of these thoughts out. That's the best place to go. But once you can sort of get these things straight in your mind, you can then open the way for new love, new passion, this Knight of Wands energy. You're not alone. So I think I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching.